Hello beautiful people, and welcome to your astrological forecast for the upcoming week. So in this one we are going to be integrating the after effects of the Aquarius full moon, which actually just peaked today on Saturday as I'm recording this, but there are a lot of aspects that were present during this lunation which actually are going to become exact in the upcoming days. So we are going to dive into all of this, and of course we know, or hopefully we know, Mercury is going to station direct on Monday, so that's going to change the energy, that's going to change the way we perceive everything, because of course Mercury is our communication, and we are going to talk about all of this in a moment. But before I get into astrology, I would like to remind everyone that if you wish to book a reading with me, I'm only available for personal readings until the end of this month, because I will be taking some personal time off throughout September and October, and then picking up back with my work in November. So if you wish to have a reading with me, then now is a good time to book. And also if you are Leo and Virgo celebrating your birthday this month, then you get readings with 25% of discounts as my birthday gift from me to you. So so if you wish to book any readings, that reach out, and you can also book from my website moonlightsoul369.com, and we can connect. So with all of that now mentioned, let's just dive into astrology and pick up where we are at. So as I'm recording, this is actually Saturday, August 9th, and as I already mentioned, the full moon in Aquarius already peaked, and prior to that we already experienced the exact opposition between Mars and Saturn. So the exact opposition between Mars and Neptune is actually happening later on tonight or tomorrow morning, depending where you are in the world. And then also on Sunday, the 10th, Moon will move into sign of Pisces, which is all about culmination, the end of the previous cycle. And also Mars will make a trine to Pluto on 2 degrees 12 minutes. And this is expanding the cycle that began between Mars and Pluto on Valentine's Day of 2024. So 14th of February 2024, which is when they had last conjunction in the sign of Aquarius on 0 degrees and 46 minutes. And I believe that was actually the first one in the sign of Aquarius for this cycle of conjunctions between Mars and Pluto in the sign of Aquarius. And then, as I already mentioned, we are going to be entering the new week with August 11th with Mercury stationing direct. So Mercury has been retrograde since July 18th, 2025, and stationed retrograde on 15 degrees and 34 minutes of Leo. Mercury is going to station direct on Monday on 4 degrees and 14 minutes of Leo. And Mercury will remain in his shadow until August 25th, and then move into Virgo on September 2nd, alongside with Saturn moving back into sign of Pisces, and our preparation for the eclipses. So that is all to look forward to in September. Then if we just move on with time, then on Tuesday is actually probably the busiest day of the week, Tuesday the 12th, we are going to be experiencing the sextile between Saturn retrograde in Aries and Uranus in Gemini 1 degree and 12 minutes. And their last conjunction between Saturn and Uranus took place on October 18, 1988, and it took place on in Sagittarius on 27 degrees and 49 minutes. And why is this interesting? Because on the same day we are experiencing a conjunction between Venus and Jupiter in Cancer, 14 degrees 3 minutes, and their last conjunction took place last year on May 23rd, 2024, which was actually the day of the full moon in Sagittarius. So there is a lot of Sagittarius, a lot of Jupiter popping up here, and actually the last conjunction between Venus and Jupiter took place in the sign of Taurus on 29 degrees 23 minutes, and during that time Venus of course was the ruler of Jupiter, and then Venus moved into Gemini, and a few days later Jupiter moved into the sign of Gemini, and and they actually are going to have one more conjunction in the sign of Cancer next year, because for whatever reason they chose to do so. So this time is in the second decan, which is the Scorpio decan of Cancer, and next year it will be in Piscean decan of Cancer on 25 degrees to be exact, on June 9th. So we are going to be revisiting these topics that we are experiencing at the moment with the Venus and Jupiter conjunction, because everything is being very amplified. Of course, Cancer, our emotions, also our ancestor lines, our history, our sense of identity, everything is connected to this. And actually, if you would like to hear a deeper interpretation of this Venus-Jupiter conjunction, I just recorded a video for Lada Dunceva's channel, which will be uploaded and premiered sometimes this weekend. So you can probably find it there by the time you're watching my video. So yeah, if you would like to have a deeper understanding of Venus and Jupiter conjunction in the sign of Cancer from evolutionary astrology perspective, then I recommend you to check it out. And then on the same day, on Tuesday, the 12th, Moon will move into sign of Aries. So actually at the time of Venus and Jupiter conjunction, Moon will be still in the sign of Pisces, which once again is totally right in resonance, because next year they are going to be conjunct again in Cancer on Pisces and Decan, of course, all connected to Moon. And Moon is actually in the sign of Pisces this year as they are conjuncting. Then Moon in a sign of Aries is going to conjunct Saturn, of course, sextile Uranus, conjunct Neptune, and sextile Pluto, and oppose Mars, and trine Mercury. So Moon is going to be very busy on Tuesday. And then on Wednesday the 13th, Moon is going to square Jupiter and square Venus. And then on Thursday, we will have Moon moving into the sign of Taurus, which is a sign of her exaltation. And then on Friday, Mars will make a sextile to Mercury. This is the first sextile between Mars and Mercury, because they will have one more on Monday, actually, because now Mercury is in his post-retrograde shadow. So yeah, this first sextile between Mars and Mercury is happening on 5 degrees and 5 minutes. So 2 5s, this is all about chaos and need for change, but also it creates a reset, right? Because number 10, you know, the beginnings and the endings and the new beginnings and preparation for next year as well. And this is actually their closing sextile from Mercury to Mars, because their last conjunction was actually in January 2024, January 27th, in the sign of Capricorn on Taurian Decan of Capricorn. And that's interesting again, because Moon is in the sign of Taurus at the time as this first sextile is taking place. And what else to mention about this? So yeah, closing sextile is all about Aquarius. So it's all about the desire to break free from something. And Mercury being in a sign of Leo post-retrograde now, we are realizing that perhaps some of what we thought was our authentic expression and sense of purpose and destiny was actually just a trauma response based on something that we experienced in childhood or got passed on to us. So now Mars being a sign of Libra is helping us to balance the scales and in a sense, sever the contracts, because to me Mars in Libra is kind of like an Archangel Michael. You know, it gives you the opportunity to cut the cords, remove the hooks, and move on with your life. So that's what I feel this is offering an opportunity to do so. So once again, it's interesting that this sextile is happening twice within 3 days period. And then Friday night, Saturday morning, depending where you are in the world, we will be experiencing a trine between Venus in Cancer and North Node in Pisces, 18 degrees 34 minutes. And we might remember Venus and North Node had triple conjunction throughout the, Venus being a sign of Pisces, which was in spring. So first one was in February, second in April, April 1st actually, which is the time when Venus was retrograde, and the final one was April 23rd. So this is the first trine since the last conjunction on April 23rd. And this is a Leo flavor, which is all about creation, authenticity. Once again, Venus being the sign of Cancer, amplified by Jupiter in a new phase conjunction with Jupiter. Who do you want to grow into? Who do you want to become? You know, let's stop playing small over here just so we can keep other people happy, you know, in their own stuckness. So here is the trine, and then on the same day we will experience Moon moving into the sign of Gemini, which is all about the choice, yes, because Venus trine in North Node, what do you want to release, what holds a meaning to you that you want to embody, and then you have the choice, how do you want this to play out for you, right? All right, and then we have Vesta trine in North Node and Venus trine in Juno on the same day. And then we will end the week on Sunday the 17th with Moon still in the sign of Gemini, actually making a trine to Mars, and then squaring the nodes. And then we are going to enter into a new week with the second sextile between Mercury and Mars, as I already mentioned, and this one is happening on 7 degrees and 4 minutes, which is the number 11 when we add it together. So that's the master number frequency. So second sextile in 3 days. We have one on Friday, we have one on Monday. So this again is making us to really realize and feel very deeply like what needs to be balanced with regards to what we perceived as authentic expression. You know, and whereas actually this was just us fulfilling contracts that we have to one another. And now with this sextile happening times 2, it is the opportunity to release ourselves from this, because this is a closing sextile, which is an Aquarius. This is a pattern that has been continuous and played out generations after generations after generations, where we feel like we all owe something to someone. We even owe our own life, you know, to I'm not quite sure who, but then we feel like we have to deserve deserve. We have to deserve, and in many cases that means to sacrifice who we really are, our authentic expression. So with Mars now being a sign of Libra, and we had this very busy weekend with Mars in a sign of Libra, trining Uranus, opposing Saturn, Neptune, and trining Pluto, this is no longer going to fly, because these are all, these evolutionary and interpersonal planets that are mostly retrograde currently in their new signs as well, and this is creating an opportunity for this change of pattern and creating this new direction, this new timeline, these new relational dynamics between ourselves and also with regards to humanity as a collective and collective consciousness. And then on Monday the 18th also Moon will move into sign of Cancer, which is the sign of her rulership. This is where Moon is the strongest, very intuitive, right, connecting us with our emotions. So this is perfect again after this second sextile between Mars and Pluto, Mars and Mercury, that is making us to truly face these things. And also then we start preparing for this new moon in Virgo number 1, and also Virgo season, beginning of Virgo season, and new moon in Virgo number 1, because we are going to have 2 this year. The second one will be actually an eclipse in September, and this is the first one of the 2. So it's interesting because of course Virgo is all about the hero's journey, human's journey. We know there are a lot of adjustments going on. Of course the North Node and Jupiter are already in a trine to one another. We just having this Venus making a trine to North Node, Jupiter will follow, and this is all about releasing that which now lost the meaning, the Piscean age qualities, which is all about sacrifice and martyrdom and playing this role of the persecutor and savior and all the rest of it. And we now want to move away from that. We want to go into new direction with Neptune in a sign of Aries and create a world that is more equal and fair, Mars in a sign of Libra, and authentic, right? So these are all things that are building us up, well, helping us to integrate this full moon in Aquarius that illuminated a lot of things to us with regards to what are we shedding this year, especially because we had the new moon in Aquarius during the same time as the lunar year of the wood snake started, January 29th. So this is something that we're working on this entire year. And of course, being the year 9, all about the endings, being the year of Hermit, all about inner work, right? And making these adjustments from inside out. So then things, the patterns and our experience can change externally. So I really feel like just, based on what I'm experiencing in my own personal life, like these massive shifts, like we're experiencing the same things over and over again with the same people potentially playing the same role. And like really being conscious, really being clear about that this is not necessary anymore. I don't want you to play this role. I don't need you to play this role. And I don't want to play this role to you. Let's just be free to be ourselves. Let's just be free to live our life. Obviously, not everybody will be willing to change their role, but then it's up to your own discernment and self-mastery and you being the authority of your life to decide, okay, do I need these people in my life, or do I need to interact with them in this way, or what's going on here? So this is where I feel that with this Saturn and Neptune in the sign of Aries, now retrograde, of course, we are really tuning into the frequency from inside, like what it would really mean for me, how it would really feel to actually be the conscious creator of my reality. Like I don't actually have to acquiescent to this. I don't have to give my yes to this if it's not what resonates with me. Why did I feel that there was no other way? Why did I feel that this is what I have to do because this is the external authority or something? So I feel that a lot of these things are very conscious to us now, especially in these after effects of this Aquarius full moon, because full moon is always about illumination and and all these other things is going on. But obviously the most important thing is this Mars. Mars is how Pluto acts consciously. So with all of these aspects, which I already obviously interpreted in my previous astrological forecast with the full moon in Aquarius interpretation, this Mars is really bringing up all these things that are out of balance for us to look at and to have the opportunity to make a different choice under all circumstances, especially as Venus and Jupiter are now conjuncting in a sign of Cancer, which is all about ancestor line. It is all about past and the history and the memories and the opportunity to change these roles we play for one another, because Venus, of course, is the ruler of Mars at the moment and will be until equinox. Mars is in the sign of Libra until equinox, until September 22nd, which is the end of eclipse season. Literally, we have this Virgo eclipse the day before on the 21st, and then Sun moves into the sign of Libra, which is the cardinal sign, which is the beginning of a new season on September 22nd. So we have the opportunity even though obviously Saturn by then is back in Pisces, Neptune will be getting ready because Neptune is moving in October back into the sign of Pisces. So we will be revisiting these old things once again, so we can allow them to run their course and then be done with them, literally be done with them, because by April next year, by the end of April next year, in April next year, we have Uranus moving to Gemini for the second time, and then Uranus will stay in the sign of Gemini. So this is the acceleration of the new timelines. So Uranus being the ruler of this moon that we just experienced at the moment, trined by Mars, which is how Pluto acts consciously in rulership, like Mars being ruled, not in rulership, obviously Mars is in detriment technically in the sign of Libra, but being ruled by Venus, conjunct by Jupiter. These are the two benefics coming together. But in a closing phase conjunction during this full moon in Aquarius, and now coming into conjunction on Tuesday, and then obviously at the same time we have Moon in the sign of Pisces, right, and Saturn making this closing sextile, right, closing sextile, I believe. Let me just double check that from the logical point of view. Mars is, yes, Saturn is closing to Uranus. Saturn closing to Uranus, and this is a closing sextile with regards to cycle that began in 1988. I mean, come on, 1988. During that time, Pluto was still in the sign of Scorpio, right? This is what I have, Pluto in the sign of Scorpio. So Pluto was very strong 1988 in his rulership, right? Modern rulership, Pluto in Scorpio, traditionally ruled by Mars. So now all of these things are being balanced. Obviously, my generation, Pluto Scorpios, we are very sensitive. We are very sensitive to BS. We are very sensitive to feeling disempowered, feeling restricted, feeling controlled or manipulated, or in a lower vibration. We want to control and manipulate because we don't want that to be done to us, right? So there are a lot of sensitivities with regards to these energies. And again, it's very interesting that it's, this sextile between Saturn and Uranus, the closing one, Aquarian flavor, is happening, and the last conjunction happened in the sign of Sagittarius, 27 degrees. So 27 degrees of Sagittarius is a Leo decan, right? Leo decan, Gemini degree, 27 obviously number 9. So it's perfect. This is the year when we have the opportunity to choose a different story. Why? Because already Jupiter Uranus conjunct last year. Now Venus, as the former ruler of the South Node at the time, Venus was the ruler of the South Node when Jupiter and Uranus had their conjunction last year in April. And Venus was the ruler of both at the time. And now Venus and Jupiter are conjunct right after this sextile between Saturn and Uranus, go figure, and their last conjunction took place in Sagittarius, and Venus and Jupiter's last conjunction last year took place on a full moon in Sagittarius, literally on the same day, in the sign of Taurus, 29 degrees, analytic degrees, ruled by Venus at the time. And this is all about the foundation, which is now breaking, right? The foundation of us feeling that, okay, I'm just going to be a good girl or a good boy and get my benefits for it, get my cookies from the authority, from the Capricorn. This is not going to fly anymore because Uranus is currently in Gemini saying, well, I'm just telling you, there is a new timeline available and this is just not going to work anymore. Why? Because Pluto is ruled by Uranus and Pluto is in Aquarius. Right? So this is not going to work anymore. Now, obviously, by the time of the conjunction, Mercury is direct. And now during this Mercury retrograde, we had the opportunity to really tune into our heart and go like, well, is this really authentic for me? Is this really what I want? Like, for example, again, I can share from my personal experience because, I'm here, obviously you can see at my parents' place. Is that really my authentic expression, the role I play when I come here, even though I'm 40 years old? And then I'm kind of like, kind of put in a position of a teenager and then being treated accordingly. And I'm like, well, that's not who I am anymore. I'm 40 and I've grown and changed, evolved. But when we come to the old places, connecting with the old people and the roles they played for us, it's very easy, and actually it's challenging not to. It's very easy to fall into this old role, the Cancer, the role I always played with these people and the role they always played for me, right? So it's like not to be just like, oh, well, it's their fault, but actually it goes vice versa, right? If I change, these people have to change, but am I allowing them to change? Or am I still like expecting them to play the same role, like just point finger and say, well, I've changed, you haven't changed, it's your fault, so that's what I mean. This is just a microcosm, my personal experience, but how is this playing out for you, where you feel this desire to grow and evolve, desire to expand, desire to not play small anymore. Why? Because Venus and Jupiter are conjunct. I mean, this is two benefics coming together in Cancer, that is amplified by every single lunation, and Cancer, the feelings, and Jupiter, current ruler of the North Node, traditionally, Jupiter is the ruler of Pisces traditionally. Everything is bloody amplified. Everything, everything is coming to the surface of our consciousness, and we cannot pretend it's not there anymore because we feel it, So that's the thing. Like, if you have some kind of imagine that you have some kind of issue going on in your life, but you can distract yourself. You can distract yourself. Like, okay, well, I don't want to deal with that right now. Let's just go and do something, get busy, get working, or whatever. But then when it becomes physical, when you can feel it in your body and it develops as some kind of ailment, some kind of illness or some kind of disease or some kind of something that actually really requires attention, and you can feel it in your body either through pain or something, then we can't ignore it anymore. It's like it's there, it's there. Like, I mean, I could just ignore it when it was in my head, but when it's actually embodied physically in my body and I can feel it as pain or something, a sickness, I can't ignore it anymore. Yeah, you can still medicate or whatever, but like, I mean, how far you can go until you cannot ignore it anymore. So that's what's going on right now with this Venus-Jupiter conjunction in a sign of Cancer ruled by the moon. And next year, same thing, right? Next year, they have another conjunction ruled by the moon, 25 degrees of Cancer, which is obviously the Aries degree and is obviously the Pisces decan, and currently moon in a sign of Pisces as they conjunct in. It's no coincidence. It's saying, like, literally these old identities, like, let's really feel it. Let's really feel it. How does it really feel in my body, in my present experience, who I am now? How does it really feel to play this role? Is this really a role I want to play? Is this really the role I want these people to play? Is this the role I want the world to play? Not this is microcosm, macrocosm, all of it. Do I really want this world to play this role anymore? To portray humanity in this way? Is this really what I want? Does it feel good to me? And if not, something has to change. But you cannot change the world. You cannot change someone else. You can only change yourself. And you can only change response to this external stimuli, to this external chaos and drama and all these things that are going on out there, which is not all that's going on. But this is where our focus is. This is where our attention is pulled towards. Like, oh, let's look at all the disasters and everything. But this is not all that's going on. There's much more going on that we are not privy to because we don't know everything, right? So the most important thing is, how does it feel to me? Who do I want to be? And what kind of world do I want to live in? And then I need to feel it. Like, again, how do I want to experience world of peace when most of us don't even know what peace feels like? We're usually stressed and worried and anxious and stuck in the past or stuck in the future. Who really knows what it feels to be at peace, which peace is like, in the acceptance with present moment, no matter what it is. I even struggle with that, especially now this summer. When things worked out very differently to how they were planned, yes, I can look at it from the higher perspective and say, yeah, this is perfect. This is what had to happen. This is, this is destined. This is meant, whatever, but does it feel good? No. Is it what I want? No. Is it desired? Not really, so that's what I mean. So if we want to create a world or a life that feels good, then it starts from inside out. So that's why with this Hermit, that's why with the year 9, that's why with the South Node in the sign of Virgo and Mercury now in Leo, stationing direct on Monday, it's saying like, okay, well, let's look at this authentic expression that you had the opportunity to reconnect with throughout Mercury retrograde, and Mercury is the ruler of the South Node. How are you going to put it into practice? Because Mercury is also ruler of the Uranus, ruler of the Uranus in Gemini. How are we going to put it into practice to change the old patterns of those that walked the earth before us, including ourselves in the past lives, to create these new timelines, to make this different choice, and to take humanity to this different experience, to this different way of perceiving and experiencing reality? What does it take? Well, it takes presence, it takes acceptance, and it takes discipline, right? Discipline and the conscious decision being made in every present moment based on, do I want to continue to do the same thing or do I want to do something different? So there is a lot going on, and all of this, of course, illuminated after this Aquarius full moon, with all of this Mars being active, in a sign of Libra, the justice, the truth will always come out. This is like the Buddhist saying, right? The three things that can never be hidden are the sun and the moon and the truth. So the truth will always come out eventually. It will always come out. It will not be able to hide forever. That's why they always find, even like the bodies and stuff. Eventually everything will always come out to the surface at some point, whether it's even for us to experience or somebody else, doesn't matter, but the truth will come out. So yeah. So, now with this amplification of the energies and everything being so heightened, with this, North Node in Pisces is just going to keep flooding, it's just going to keep flooding us, and it can show up obviously in a physical manifestation as actual flooding or the emotional flooding, but either way, as above, so below, as within, so without, so everything is always connected. And then, as I mentioned, we will be building up towards the new moon in Virgo on the 0 degree, the anaretic degree, and then the eclipse will be on the 29 degrees. So we have this important energy of the Alpha and the Omega with regards to Virgo as the human or hero's journey, not as the perfectionist, because actually that's the misinterpretation of Virgo by mostly religion, but it's not what Virgo really represents. There is the opportunity to get stuck in that definition, but Virgo is the human journey, hero's journey, the spirit incarnate into form that walks on earth just to have the experience, to learn, grow, and evolve, and to do whatever healing and bettering is possible and available based on the consciousness of the person, level of discernment, the level of maturity, level of self-love, and how strong are your roots, how strong is your ability to compassionate with yourself and with someone else. So this is all that's really coming through this week in the after effects of Aquarius full moon, which got seeded during the time of the beginning of the lunar year of wood snake. Shedding. We are shedding, layers and layers. And now with this full moon in Aquarius, ruled by Uranus in Gemini, still direct until September 6th, still direct. It's saying, and 1 degree, the magician, you decide what layers you want to shed. Because with this Venus-Jupiter conjunction in Cancer, in trine with the North Node, and amplified by the moon at the time in Pisces, but in the after effects of the full moon in Aquarius, does it still hold a meaning to live this way? Does it still hold a meaning to play this role? To be attached to this identity? To be hooked onto that, this legacy of the past, this like pride that this is who we are, this is who we were, and we just have to protect it no matter what, even though if it doesn't work, even though it doesn't make me or my children happy no more, but we just have to be strong and just keep going, even though it causes all this suffering, because this is what our ancestors fought for so hard, but when they come back, they will not want to do that, I can guarantee you 100%. So where does it end? When does the pattern change? And it's never easy to be the black sheep. It's never easy to be the pattern changer, because everybody will look at you and go like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Why is it not good enough for you? All the judgment, and the persecution. And then is the opportunity to say, I'm not going to play the role anymore. I don't want to be the persecutor. I don't want to be the persecuted. I don't want to be the savior. I don't want to be any of that. I just want to be free to be me and live my life, regardless of what everybody else is thinking about that. Everybody else came here to have their own experience. Yeah, we came here to co-create and build together and heal together through your own unique experience. It's not about copy-paste. Just because I'm doing it this way, you should be too, because I think so. This is up to everyone to discern. So again, going back to this Cancer, this, even though we are in a sign of Leo, we are in Leo season, but Jupiter, Jupiter just attracts the attention, is the biggest planet, right? So it's like Jupiter amplifies, and now in conjunction with Venus, the ruler of Mars, the ruler of the Saturn and Neptune, So yeah, Sun is just highlighting to us. It's just pointing the torch, like, oh yeah, Leo, yeah. What is the purpose? What is the authentic expression? What is your inner child telling you, or the wounded inner child? Either or. And now with Mars, Mercury direct as of Monday, still in shadow until 25th. So technically until after the Virgo new moon number 1, we are digesting, we are integrating, we are realizing, we are putting into practice, with this double sextile between Mercury and Mars in 3 days, 15 and the 18th, which is the 6 and which is the 19, the 9, 18, the 9. Yeah, so it's the 6 and it's the 8 months, that's the 14th, that's number 5, yes, and it's happening on 5 degrees first on Friday, perfect, so that's the chaos maker, and then the 18 is the 9, we are in the 8, so yeah, that's the number 8, yeah, because 9, 9 and 8, yeah, the 8, the strength. We have to be strong and courageous to break the pattern, to go out of the mold, to be prepared to be judged and, prosecuted by everybody. But if not you, then who? If not me, then who? Who are we gonna wait, to change the pattern? Who are we gonna wait to change the world, to create a different world? What, your children or your grandchildren? You're gonna, wait for them? So that's what I mean. Somebody has to be the one to do it. So why keep continuously being distracted by pointing finger and say, well, it's their fault, it's my parents' fault, they should change. Well, I can't change them. And, their role is to be who they are. Who is it for you in your life? Who do you want to change? And you can't. You can't, because people came here to play the role they came here to play. And they sometimes can't play the role you want them to play, but very often they play the role you need them to play. So yeah, so this is where there are a lot of things, a lot of the cogs in the wheels. A lot of things are turning. I see it like the big clock. Like there are a lot of things falling into place. So a new cycle can begin, and it is beginning after the Venus-Jupiter conjunction. Obviously, Moon moves into the sign of Aries, right? Yeah. Moon moves into the sign of Aries, and then with Moon on the final degrees of Taurus, which is the sign of her exaltation, is the Venus trine to North Node. Exact, even though obviously this is already active now as I'm recording this, but the exact, Friday night, Saturday morning, Venus trine to North Node, first trine, Leo. Creating the new sense of self by releasing the old sense of self go, because it was not really true. It was true for the time, and it was needed, and it had held a meaning, but is there still something that holds a meaning and something that gives you the sense of inspiration, motivation, joy, the desire to be alive and get out of the bed? And only you can answer these questions, because only you know how it feels. So that's why with all of this Cancer, all these feelings are amplified. We cannot escape it anymore. It makes me sick to my stomach. I cannot escape it. I can feel it. in my gut. So this is why it's happening. So it's not to punish us, it's to help us, because how much longer we want to keep spinning wheels when actually everything already changed. We are still experiencing the after effect and the reminder of the Pisces age consequences, right? But we are not in Pisces age anymore. So this is where we have to catch up with the times. And now with Uranus in Gemini, this is accelerating, right? And all the retrograde planets are accelerating us from the inside out. So anyway, guys, I'm going to leave it at that. And then, as I mentioned, next week I'm going to pick up on this and then move into the Virgo season and interpretation of this Virgo new moon number 1 on 0 degrees of Virgo. So that will be for next week. But for now, let's just see further messages from Aquarius Full Moon, as it just peaked this morning. So we're going to ask the Moonology messages about further messages from the Aquarius Full Moon 2025. Okay, what is further message? Okay, 3 cards flew out. Okay, let's see. Strength, yeah, young moon, strength, culminating strength, yeah, the word strength already flying around. Seek healing, this came up last time I used this deck. That was after the new moon in Leos. Seek healing. Yeah, there is a lot of healing going on. Of course, South Node in Virgo, North Node in Pisces is all about the healing humanity. On a physical plane, we going through this healing, so it can balance everything that is non-physical as well. So everything is connected in this process. And then take a risk. Yeah, the step into the unknown. Allow your own inner compass to guide you. What got illuminated to you with this full moon, moonflower? What got illuminated to you with this full moon? Where do you want to bloom? What do you want to bloom into? Your own inner compass, where is it guiding you? Where is it guiding you? This is like, to me, very Sagittarian. What is this a new horizon you wish to explore? Who do you want to become in that new adventure? What do you need to heal in order to get there? and cultivating the strength from within, to have the courage to go in that new direction. And yeah, at the bottom is the stay in integrity. That was also at the that was also last time. Moon shining, stay in integrity. This is again like illuminating to us: are we true to ourselves? Are we being authentic? I know last time I used the cosmic crossroads, and there was again the card of betrayal, where we've been betraying ourselves. So yeah, stay true to yourself. Don't be afraid to ask for help if you need it. Seek healing. Be strong, to take the risk, to step into something different, to do things that other people might not understand, but follow your own inner compass. You can see everything is like indigo color here, your third eye, your intuition. And yeah, this is the strength, a lot of orange, a lot of yellow, the creation of the new. Okay, and then we're going to look at the quantum oracle. Let me just reposition myself here. The quantum oracle, because I feel like with this Aquarius full moon, there are definitely quantum leaps that we are going through at the moment. So quantum oracle, what is the guidance? Aquarius full moon, after effects. Okay, there are again a lot of cards. Wow, this is too many cards, but I'm going to take the 3. I'm going to put the rest back. Transformation. Yeah, this card comes out quite often, and you can see number 5 again. And again, the bridge. If you look at the 8-8 portal video that I recorded, there was that person in front of the bridge, the self-mastery. Yeah. We are on the threshold, we really are in the crossroads. We are at the threshold to get from one way of being to another one, and obviously you can see, I don't know if you can see, you see this is like the quantum field, right? With all these dots, we are all connected, the oneness, the wholeness, and this feels like kind of a little bit ominous, the fire of purification. What do we have to go to cross the bridge? And the person has like this, like the diploma kind of things, that she looks like she's graduated, right? Which was also the energy I was picking up on the 8-8 portal, that we graduated, we do have the strength. We have the strength to take the risk to move forward as a humanity. So yeah, this is the card of transformation, the death and rebirth, number 5. How is this happening? Through chaos and distraction and disruption, the cycles. This is cycles of life. The Gaia, the earth, is going through her own natural cycles where things are naturally changing, the climate change and all the rest of it. A lot of that is actually natural for the planet, going through her natural cycles. And then also for your cycles as a being, as an individual, and for the cycles of humanity. We graduated from this Pisces age BS, from playing these roles, unequal roles, these constant roles of the victim, martyr, the prosecutor, and the savior. We play these roles for thousands of years. And now no more. No more. So we have to cross that bridge from where we are to where we're going. And there is the status quo. Number 2, again, cycles. You have to make the choice. You have to make the choice yourself. Are you going to follow, or are you going to follow what you've always done, or are you going to follow your own sun? The status quo. Are you going to break the status quo, go against the status quo? That what everybody else is doing, or are you going to follow your own sun? It's a choice. Number 2, it's a choice. Whether you transform, it's your choice. Not everybody came here to do that. Some people came here just to be keepers of the past, not just to be the keepers of the past, which is a very important role, to show the contrast. And then ascended masters. This is beautiful. Look, the infinity symbol, the lotus flower, the dove, the peace, and the all-seeing eye. And this is number 7, the spirit. 7, the higher knowledge. So yeah, this is like, and also number 4, like the 4 pillars, like the Cancer season, which is behind us. But, obviously we will keep going back to Cancer because Jupiter is there, and Jupiter is amplifier. It attracts everything and is connected to the moon, and moon goes through the whole zodiacal wheel every month. And we have 2 lunations every month, sometimes even 3. So yeah, the ascended masters are showing us, what are the important things to build the future on. The infinity, like the infinity in the middle of that is that void, the neutralizing, the infinity. Things will always come around until we get to the point where we are able to neutralize the energy, so a new energy can be created, and then that's gonna then go around, like everything is continuous spiral, right? And the death and rebirth, the lotus, even the ascended masters, I mean, who had a good, easy life? Who had a easy life? You don't become ascended master, you don't become a teacher, by having an easy life. Very unlikely, everybody has to go through the cycles, in life. The cycles, sometimes you up, sometimes you are down, but the cycle of life, the cycle of planet, the cycle of humanity. So then we can enjoy and appreciate when we are somewhere other than what doesn't feel so good. And the dove, the peace, the peace, the wisdom, the wisdom, the all-seeing. So to me, all the ascended masters are here to support us with what they've gone through and offer us their wisdom to take it to the next level, just like our ancestors. They offer in us everything that they've achieved on this planet. It's being passed on to us, and this is an honor, even from the material perspective, that everything we take for granted on daily basis, this didn't exist, even few decades ago, 100 years ago, people didn't have this privilege, and we just take it for granted. And this is not like for us to feel now inferior, to feel bad about it, to feel guilty about it, but to have the appreciation that there are people who had to die. There were generations, many generations, hundreds of years of generations that had to go without, and now this is just automatic. So it's like is having the gratitude for everything that we have the opportunity to tap into and use in order to take it to the next level, So again, it's the choice. Is the choice to transform and use the wisdom of those that walked the earth before, the number 7, the higher knowing, the wisdom, also the chariot in the major arcana, which is about mastering the conscious and unconscious mind, so you can go freely, with the horse, with the sphinx actually, where you need to go, where you want to go, you are no longer bound by karma in a sense, because you neutralize the energy. So yeah, learn from the least wisdom of the past. And let's see at the bottom, discovery, the intention, and it's a number 8, which is again the strength, the infinity. What do you want to explore? What do you want to discover? What is your diamond? What is the thing that gives you the desire to keep going? What is the thing that you need to focus on? What is the thing, you could say a diamond, but actually it's a life force. Discovering about yourself, what it is that gives you the desire to keep going, the soul desire to want to transform, to want to make a different choice, to want to learn, from the past and be guided, from inside out through the inner wisdom, from the higher knowing, which is not something that we can control. We are on a path of self-discovery towards a different ways of experiencing reality. So what is the intention, behind the why? So let's see. Okay, I'm going to, because when I was doing the 8-8 portal, the ancestors were coming out very strongly. So I have a deck from Denise Lin, the Native Spirit, which is to me very connected to ancestors as well. So let's see what is the guidance for the ancestors here, because the quantum field is literally saying that we are at the we are on the bridge where we can make a choice. The bridge, we're making the choice, white buffalo, perfect. We're making the choice, the bridge. We are literally at the crossroad, and I just looked at the bottom here, and it's a professional assistance, ask for help, that was also with the healing. So okay, there is a white buffalo at the bottom over here. Let's see what else we get with this Native Spirit. What is the guidance? Okay, there is a card. Let's see. The Vision Quest. This to me is like that other card. Where is it? I turned them the other way again. This one. the discovery. What do you want to discover? What do you want to explore as a spirit going forward? The vision quest. And we know with the vision quest, it's about going within, right? It's a very hermetic tool. You go within, you are alone. You sit with yourself, you don't speak to nobody. Your vision quest, that is really allowing you to connect with your soul, you know? So like the ancestors, like connect with the inner wisdom, you know, also with these ascended masters. Connect. The vision quest, the sun. You know, it will guide you. You know, there is that one thing that is, you know, part of the free, right? The sun that is can never be hidden, not for long anyway. It will always come back. It will always come out, even though we might not see it every single day, you know, because of weather. But it's always there. It's always there. Your soul is always there to guide and support you. But are we making the time? You know, are we connected? Are we allowing it to speak to us? So the vision quest. So sometimes we need to disconnect from this chaos. And at the bottom, smudging ceremony. Here, the purification. Purification. Also the protection, but it's the clearing. Clearing and cleaning and clearing. From the inner work, the shadow work. Clearing, cleaning and clearing. And that's, you know, seek healing. Seek healing. Smudging ceremony and the vision quest. It's all about the inner work, about the inner reconnection. That's the only way to be guided in these times. That is true to you. Okay, we're going to see about the vision. This is a vision of the soul, I think, this deck. It's a portal deck. Vision of the soul. I think I put in a, I will put in a description what is exactly this deck called, but I think it's called Vision of the Soul, Visions of the Soul. Okay, let's see, what are we visioning for the future, because it is the Aquarius after all. Okay, we jump in again. Intuition, number 32. Yes, that's what I was just saying. You know, the unlimited potential of the universe is available to you. Also, we have the flower of life. We have the Merkaba here, right? All this sacred geometry. And again, the old seeing eye, right? Just like here. That one. Yeah, we can say all sorts of things from Kabbalism and stuff about it. But all in all, you know, with the number 32, again, that's up to number 5. We are forced to connect with our intuition, because the world is going crazy. I mean, come on, you know, like if you listen to news, when you look at what's going on, and the AI and this and that and war, and there is climate changes, and there is this disaster and that disaster, there's so much stuff going on in the world that you just go like, what's the point, you know? So the only way to really rise above it and be excited about life is through your, you know, through connecting to something that is higher knowing, the intuition, the vision, you know, this yeah, because your soul is not bothered, you know, your soul is not upset, your soul is not afraid, you know, your soul knows it's all gonna work out, your soul knows it's just having a dream and that's your life and it's all going to be fine, you know, it's just, you're just having an experience, you know, don't worry about it, you know, because once we leave this physical body, all of these things stays here, you know, the ego, the attachments, you know, all of these things, everything we own, everything will stay here. The only thing we take in with us is the experience, right? The soul will excavate, like, okay, well, how was the experience, right? So yeah, so the only way to really be guided beyond the experiences of the past is through intuition, in this new direction, to rely on your third eye, on your higher mind, your inner knowing, you know, like connecting to all of these spiritual tools that are available to us, you know, to these natural laws of the universe. And how are we going to do it? Well, under pressure, because like if life is going good, then why would we need it? You know, that's where usually the religion was blooming when people were desperate, right? So in this case, like, yeah, some people are becoming dogmatic again, but a lot of people are seeking new ways, you know, like I don't want to externalize my power to someone out there. I want to be able to decide for myself. So yeah, through these chaos and disruptions is the opportunity to connect to the true guidance that will help you, that will help me, that will help everyone through the vision quest, you know, and the purification and all the healing, having the strength to go through it, to take the risk and stay in our integrity. And at the bottom, there is a well of dreams chakra, number 10. Yeah, the dreams are very strong with the North Node in Pisces. Yeah, paying attention to the dreams and also the dream of the soul, you know, like the soul communicates to us all the time. But if we're too busy, then sometimes it's only through the dreams that it can really get the messages through to us. You can see the messages are coming from the above. So when we're so busy and, you know, like constantly doing something distracted, yeah, that's the word, distracted, then sometimes the only way for the soul to get through is through the dreams. So pay attention to the dreams. And also they are subject to everybody's interpretation, you know, to different people, they need different things. So it's like understanding the language of your own soul, and it's the number 10 the next year. So for me, it's also about dreaming what you desire into reality. So it's like twofold. The spirit communicate to you the dreams, you know, through the dreams, but also is through your dreams, through you dreaming your dream world into reality, the well of dreams. You know, use it to your advantage to connect and to create with the quantum field, to create with the angelic realm, to create, because that's what you are. You know, and we have this 5 and times 2 is the 10. So yeah, through this, the disruption, we are connecting to our intuition. So then next year, when it's the reset year, we can bring our dreams into reality and also allow our soul to guide us through ways that might not make sense, you know, during the waking hours. Okay, and the final oracle card I'm going to use is the Rumi oracle, you know, the wisdom. So let's see what wisdom Rumi will share with us. Wisdom connected to this Aquarius full moon energy. Yeah, this is a new deck, so it's like not shuffling so smoothly yet. Okay, there is first nothing, and then all these cards are like tripping. Okay, one card. Okay, there is one poking out. The passion of the wild red mother. Oh wow, look at all that red. You know, we are still in Leo season after all. You know, the desire is being birthed. Don't ask the conscious ones about the wine. Behold the glowing effect of it in the eyes of drunks. Here is your invitation to lay aside despair, to put aside doubt in the capacity of the human heart, even your frustration and impatience. It is time to quit whipping yourself and others, no matter how noble the intention behind the whip might be, and start dancing instead. Here is your big cosmic yes. So what it is that you're desiring, and just go for it. Let's stop blaming, let's stop judging, let's stop pointing fingers, let's just focus on what we want. You know, this is the red, orange, and yellow, all the lower chakras, yeah, that then they lead us to the heart. And then, so whatever it is that you desire, and here is your yes. You don't need permission or validation from someone else. And then the bottom, oh wow, this one came back recently. I pulled this one for someone recently. Commitment. The awakened heart is like a lantern. Keep it sheltered from the turbulence of the winds of desire. Wow. So here we have desire. Here we have, oh, this is a passion. The fear that your desire won't manifest may cause you to try to bend life to your will. It is an unnecessary battle and one that will not serve your soul. Instead, just show up, be present. Life is not working at cross purposes with you, far from it. Life is a creative co-conspirator with your heart. So yeah, you don't need to justify your desire with anyone or your passions. Yeah, just go after what feels right to you, and then allow the universe to help you to bring it into manifestation. Follow the light. But yeah, let's not try to micromanage universe. This is also me talking to myself, because some things you can influence and some things you can't, you know. Okay, final message from the major arcana, and we end with that. Final message from the major arcana for this full moon in Aquarius. Judgment, yeah, clearing of the decks. There's a Pluto, you know, is a number 20, yeah, because the new choices have to be made. This is also about us standing into our positions, you know. So yeah, this is literally also like what I was saying about us clearing the old contracts, you know, to one another. We are being called into the positions and roles that we came here to play with regards to the future, not just the past. So it's time to stop into our authentic roles, make the choice. Number 20, again, the number 2, just like with the High Priestess and with the Justice, right? The 2, the 11, and now here is the 20. Making the choice to allow the past to be left in the past. Learn from it, but don't allow it to define your future, unless that's what you want. So this is, to me, clearing of the decks of humanity and stepping into the roles that we really came here to play, future-oriented, and the Hierophant, the new foundation. You are your own religion, the new foundation, believing in yourself, trusting yourself, this is the Taurus, the self-worth, the key, the Chiron is moving into Taurus next year. That will be the only one in the feminine sign, right? Everybody else is in masculine signs. I mean, the big planets. So yeah, the key is in yourself, in your self-worth, sense of who you are, your self-reliance, self-trust, self-love. So yeah, you are your own religion. You create your own story. The in conjunction between Taurus and Sagittarius. Just have to go for it. Yeah, by clearing the decks. And then is the Devil, by freeing yourself from the contracts of the past and making a new choice to expand, to grow, evolve, and create a new earth. All right, I'll leave it at that, guys, because this video was very strong, very, very difficult to record. I've been trying to record it for about an hour, apart from these 50 minutes that I've been recording it. So yeah, I'm glad that we are here. I hope that the messages that came through were helpful, and yeah, and I wish everybody a wonderful week of integration of these Aquarius full moon energies. And after the Mercury station in direct on Monday, I'm sure much more clarity will become present in everybody's life's experience, obviously, unless you have Mercury retrograde natally, and then you just go back to back to where you normally at when Mercury is direct. But I have Mercury direct, so I know how it impacts me. I don't know any other way, but anyway, I hope that the next week will bring a lot of clarity and a new way of understanding everything that you've been going through this summer, especially this, left alone this Leo season. So with that, I wish you all a wonderful week ahead, the last week of Leo season, right? Because the sun will then be moving into the sign of Virgo the week after. And once again, if you would like to book a reading with me, now is your opportunity, because as of September, I will be unavailable. And have a great time ahead, and I'll speak to you again in the next video. Much love, everyone, and bye for now.